Welcome back, everybody. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. And today's video is going to be on artificial plants and whether or not they are safe for Uromastyx. And today we're going to be assisted by Wasner, my Egyptian Uromastyx, and he is demonstrating at this exact moment why it's very important to be cautious with artificial plants and Uromastyx. They are an herbivorous species, which means they eat plants. Nope. And unfortunately, because they eat plants, they eat things that look like plants. And so it's very, very important to carefully choose your artificial plants for your Uromastyx enclosure. Many of the common plants that are available artificially from the sort of top names that you'll recognize, Zoomed, Exoterra, use specific plastics which are designed for high heat environments. Unfortunately, they also kind of all look the same and are not necessarily what you're going to want in your Euro cage because they don't give the right general feel for the environment. And unfortunately, in the reptile hobby, like many other hobbies, we learn things the hard way. So I am being honest and telling you that these are lessons I have learned by making mistakes. Now, thankfully, everybody that I have made these mistakes on is happy and healthy, and there were no long-term issues. However, there could have been, and so I wanted to make this video showing everybody what to do and what not to do. The first mistake that I originally made is using plants from a craft store. And I'll give you kind of a close-up of what happened here. Let's see if you can see. Can you see all these brown ends? Yeah, there you go. So this is a little sort of ferny plant that I picked up. It has paper stem, and I thought, oh, this will look super cute. And then I put it in my Euro cage, and unfortunately, due to the high heat environment, within 5 minutes, this thing was melted into oblivion. So, $10 down the drain, and of course, melted plastic and animals does not mix, so this one went bye-bye and into a snake cage that has much lower heat and away from the light. So in my infinite wisdom, I thought to myself, let's try a sturdier plastic. And that's this one. And at first, it seemed like everything was fine. It doesn't really have any issues with it. Doesn't seem to be melting, kept it away from the light. And then after a day or two, I came in and opened the cage and found that it had a very odd smell. And it was the distinct smell of melted plastic. And I thought, ooh, this is bad. That's carcinogenic. So away this one went, and I actually haven't used it on anything because once it was that badly melted for that many days, I pretty much decided this thing shouldn't be around animals at all. So I've just kept it around. It decorates my room. It's not in any cages. Now this is when I got really smart. I decided plastic's not the way to go. I'm gonna do something much more natural and go with sort of a foam plant that has a very desert look and really fits the desert feel of the Uromastyx. And that's where I got this little guy. And all seemed well. Everybody's happy. Until I started noticing, what's happening over here? Uh-oh. Yeah, this is my biggest mistake so far. And this is where I'm very, very grateful. Hold on, where are you going, bud? Very grateful that nobody was hurt. This happened over a year ago, so guaranteed there's no problems. But as you can see right here, the unmistakable Uromastyx bite. So unfortunately, these guys actually eat this sort of plant in the wild and things in this family of juicy cactus. So he decided, oh look Mom, this looks delicious. And unfortunately, it is not delicious. So, had to take that one out and back to the drawing board. And Wasner is demonstrating for us where I finally settled on safe artificial plants for Uromastyx. And what I decided is this one right here. This is a silk plant. When I put it in the cage, I keep this slight plastic end really far away from the lights. I don't use any of these anywhere near the basking spot since it is 110 degrees and is way too hot for anything that even has a plastic base. But most of this is wire and the rest of this is actually silk. And it seems to do just fine. It's a natural fiber, so it doesn't release any toxins or anything like that. I've been using this one for about a year and haven't had any problem with it. Where you going, bud? Come on back. Don't jump. So, I really like this silk plant. One of the nicest things about it is that it does not appear in any way to be a desert plant. I've seen no interest from any of my Uromastyx on these sort of tropical looking plants such as this one. And I think that's probably because it's really not anything that they're interested in their native environment. They'd never seen anything that has this sort of coloration, this sort of leaf pattern. It doesn't seem to appeal to them. So if I am going to be using artificial plants in the future, I'm going to be sticking with natural fiber, silk plants, and paying very close attention to where they are placed in the enclosure to make sure that they are nowhere near the basking spot. So the real takeaway here with artificial plants in Uromastyx is just don't do it. The heat in a Uromastyx enclosure is frankly too high for most artificial plastics, such as this. And the risk of eating foam or other impactable substances is pretty high with other plants. Oops, sorry, bud. The reality is, Uromastyx require such high heat in their enclosure that most plastics, even the ones commercially produced as reptile habitat safe, are probably not necessarily as safe as they might initially appear to be. With Euros, your safest bet is to stick to desert terrain, rocks, artificial plants that are up and out of the way but made out of natural fibers, so in the event that the animal does come around them, he's not necessarily going to be able to eat them, and if he does chew on them a little bit, it's not going to be a major problem. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.